بركاها للحياء بركاها للحياء ولا فتى يا حسين يا سيد الشهداء ولا فتى لأياما يحملنا غرا يتاما فقدنا سيدا كراما شم الأنوف إزاما سرى بذاك الأراي سرى بذاك الأراي ولا فتى يا حسين يا سيد الشهداء لا في الله طاهراتي بين العدا حسراتي رائے من نادباتی فی کربلا صارخاتی بسدت الاسریائی بسدت الاسریائی والا فتى یا حسینہ یا سید الشہداء مشکاکت الجیوبی مفجرات القلوب محملات القروب مکاسیات الخطوب من الولا والعناء من الولا والعناء والا فتى يا حسين يا سيد الشهداء.
Oh, you wanted it? Oh, yeah, that's fine. I thought you were saying that this one was.
صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد
محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد
صلوات.
election.
It's okay. Good stuff.
مشکو علم مداس ہے دریا اداس ہے عباس تیرے غم میں زمانہ اداس ہے، عباس تیرے غم میں زمانہ اداس ہے، ایک بے کسی سی گھر میں برستی ہے رات دن، برستی ہے رات دن، بن اہل بیت سارا مدینہ اداس ہے، بن اہل بیت سارا مدینہ اداس ہے، یہ انتہا صبر و تحمل کا ہے سفر، تحمل کا ہے سفر، اب تک غم حسین میں دنیا اداس ہے، اب تک غم حسین میں دنیا اداس ہے، افسوس فاطمہ کا یوں گلشن اجڑ گیا، گلشن اجڑ گیا، اب تک اسی کی یاد میں صحرا اداس ہے، اب تک اسی کی یاد میں صحرا اداس ہے، آواز یا حسین کی آتی ہے آج کل، آتی ہے آج کل، شاید کہ خلد میں کوئی دکھیاں اداس ہے، شاید کہ خلد میں کوئی دکھیاں اداس ہے، رو رو کے ماں یہ کہتی تھی اصغر کی قبر پر، اصغر کی قبر پر تیرے بغیر ننھا سا جھولا اداس ہے، تیرے بغیر ننھا سا جھولا اداس ہے، اب تک چچا نہ آئے کیوں دریا سے لوٹ کر، دریا سے لوٹ کر خیمے کے در پہ پیاسی سکینہ اداس ہے، خیمے کے در پہ پیاسی سکینہ اداس ہے۔ محشر مجھے بلائے گا عباس نامدار، عباس نامدار، مدت سے میرے دل کی تمنا اداس ہے، مدت سے میرے دل کی تمنا اداس ہے۔ سایہ نہ دے سکا شہ بے کس کی لاش پر، بے کس کی لاش پر، عباس کے علم کا پھریرا اداس ہے، عباس کے علم کا پھریرا اداس ہے، مشکو علم اداس ہے، دریا اداس ہے۔ صلوات
اللهم
صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ مولانا عباس علمدار نشان۔ عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو، عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو، ہے میری تمنا، ہے میری تمنا کہ مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو، عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو۔ آقا ہی کہا ہے مجھے جب جب بھی پکارا، بھائی کہو عباس میں بھائی ہوں تمہارا، مدت سے میرے دل میں ہے بس ایک تمنا، عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو۔ پانی کے لیے بھیجا تھا دریا کے کنارے، یہ کس کی نظر کھا گئی تم کو میرے پیارے، بازو ہے قلم خون میں ڈوبا ہے فریرا، عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو۔ تنہا مجھے اس طرح نہ چھوڑو میرے بھائی، اس حال میں منہ مجھ سے نہ موڑو میرے بھائی، میں سے نہیں سکتا ہوں جدائی کا یہ صدمہ، عباس میرے بھائی، عباس میرے بھائی، مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو۔ جو داغ کلیجے پہ ہے وہ کس کو دکھاؤں، میں اپنے دکھے دل کی صدا کس کو سناؤں تم چھوڑ کے جاؤ نہ مجھے دشت میں تنہا عباس میرے بھائی عباس میرے بھائی مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو ہر سمت نظر آتا ہے ایک درد کا منظر کس موڑ پہ لایا ہے مجھے میرا مقدر لوٹی ہے میری آنکھوں کے آگے میری دنیا عباس میرے بھائی عباس میرے بھائی مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو زینب کے دکھے دل کا سہارا تم ہی ہو معصوم سکینہ کا بھروسہ بھی تم ہی ہو تم میری ضعیفی کا سا ہو میرے بھیا عباس میرے بھائی عباس میرے بھائی مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو کیوں چھوڑ چلے میرا بھرم کچھ تو بتاؤ ہے تم کو میری سر کی قسم کچھ تو بتاؤ اب کس کو پکاروں گا میں سکائی سکینہ عباس میرے بھائی عباس میرے بھائی مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو ہے میری تمنا ہے میری تمنا کہ مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو عباس میرے بھائی عباس میرے بھائی مجھے بھائی تو کہہ دو صلوات محمد وعلی آلہ محمد.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to recite a Murasiyah in the name of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Been meaning to do this for a few years now. I've finally gotten around to giving it a shot. The Murasiyah talks about how we can invite Imam Hussain into our lives and pay homage to him. It also talks about how we remember Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his family and the grief they went through, and how suddenly our day-to-day stresses and challenges that we face become so trivial and insignificant compared to his. In this Murasiyah, we are all collectively sending him out salams and humble gifts of remembrance. زندگی میں کربلا بلا لو حسین زندگی میں کربلا بلا لو حسین سویا مقدر جگا دو حسین زندگی کا کوئی بھروسہ نہیں آرزو ہے دل کی نکالو حسین زندگی میں کربلا بلا لو حسین رہتے ہیں تیرے غم میں ڈوبے ہوئے دنیا کے غم ہم بھولے ہوئے ذکر تیرا بار بار پڑھتے رہے زندگی ہماری سوار تو حسین زندگی میں کربلا بلا لو حسین ذکر تیرا عام ہے عام ہوئیں گا ہر زباں پہ مولا تیرا نام ہوئیں گا آپ کی شہادت پہ ہر ایک بشر نو اخوانیو آوو پکاوو حسین जिंदगी में करबला बुला लो हुसैन ए सबा ये पैगाम ले जाना बेकरार ए दिल मेरा है कह पाना जिक्र गम आंसू का नजर आना तोहफा है स्वाबिर कबूलो हुसैन जिंदगी में करबला बुला लो हुसैन जिंदगी में करबला बुला लो हुसैन
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin.
You guys maybe around the corner, yeah, feel free to come around. Guys, come forward. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa alihi
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the Compassionate, the Merciful. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. A recap of yesterday, we went through some practical ways that we can reduce our impact on the environment. Sorry, I know I went through those quite quickly, but if you kind of want some information, come to me, and I'm not an expert, but I'll try and point you in the right direction. We also looked at our food and water waste and how we can reduce that, given there are so many people starving and thirsty in the world, especially remembering those in Karbala and how they suffered. I'd like everyone, please, to think of a couple of memories you have of a particularly peaceful and joyous time in your life. So I'll give you a few moments for that. तो बताइए तुम्हें प्लीज विचारो करो कि तुम्हारी जिंदगी में कई बनाव छे कि तुमने વધારે સુકૂન કે ખુશી મળી છે. Hopefully everyone's got something. Otherwise, so what did those things entail? Did we have family in them, friends, other humans? Did we see any natural beauty? Were we on a pilgrimage? Were we with somebody we love? So today I hope to discuss the materialism we see in our society that encourages us to derive happiness from objects. We're encouraged to buy more and more at the expense of not only ourselves, but also our environment, and of course, our money. But actually, when we strip it back, I think we can still derive joy from the simple things in life, and of course, from the remembrance of God. તો હમણાં મેં કીધું કે યાદી કરો એ વિચારોમાં કોણ હતું? આપણા પરિવાર હતા, દોસ્તાર હતા, બીજા ઇન્સાનો હતા, આપણી કુદરતની ખૂબસૂરતી હતી, આપણે હજુ પર હતા કે તો આજે હું શું બોલવાનો છું કે આજનો જમાનો શું કહે છે આપણે કે આપણે ખુશી વસ્તુથી આપણે લઈ ને આપણે વધારે ને વધારે લઈ છે ને આપણે પણ નુકસાન થાય છે ને આપણે વાતાવરણ પણ નુકસાન થાય છે ને આપણે ખીચું પણ ખાલી થાય છે. પણ આપણે વિચાર કરે આપણે નાની વસ્તુમાંથી પણ ખુશી મળે છે અને અલ્લાહ કહે છે કે આપણી એને યાદ કરે તોય પણ ખુશી મળે છે. So how does this materialistic society, how does it arose? So I want to talk a little bit about advertising. So let's just consider where we see adverts in general. So, TV is an obvious one. Facebook, Google, YouTube. I was on the motorway the other day, the M6, and they have massive, I don't know if you've seen them, massive electronic billboards advertising there as well. You know, for those of us with children, not me, but you know, you can see. Don't worry, with that. You know, kids, you know, in their apps, you can see pop-ups that are saying, you know, buy this. And if we think about how impressionable a child is, let's consider the impact on that. And all of these ads are designed to make us think we need something more, that something is missing in our lives. They may challenge our concepts of self-image. You know, how beautiful we think we are, or how beautiful we think we don't are. Maybe we're not good enough somehow. Or we can be good enough if we buy that, or we look like that person. So these brands can become a status symbol, which I think is what they've become today. And they're very clever, you know, over repetition, they can convince us that actually this is the dream. Muhammad Ali knew this. You know, we all know he used to call himself the greatest. And he said, I figured that if I said it enough, I would convince the world that I really was the greatest. My mom and dad like to remind me that I was also a victim of these ads. You know, when I was a kid, I used to cry apparently in the car when I didn't get strawberry milkshake from McDonald's. So yeah, even the Happy Meals I love too. You know, just next time an advert comes up, wherever it may be, just sit back and just see how clever it is and what it's trying to think about in our minds. It's one thing if it stays the same, but they change for new products. You know, so we're always on this hamster wheel, always reminded and waiting for the next big thing in the market. As an aside, you know, if you ever get time, you know, it is an interesting story to look at how the diamond cartel De Beers, which you might be aware of, actually shaped modern demand for diamond engagement rings today, but I won't go into it. So what can we do? You know, let's have a look at the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle, in that order. So the best thing is always to reduce what we're buying, then to reuse it, and then to recycle it. I'll talk very briefly about recycle. We already know a lot about this. There are many things, you know, paper, metal, glass, and you can get that from your local council. But plastic, I want to mention, it is a lot more difficult to recycle that. And contrary to what we might be told, oh, you can recycle this coffee cup, it is a lot harder to than we are told. And the UK rate is only 39%, which is very low. So reusing, you know, it's common sense that if you use good quality things, they will last a long time. But what we see today is actually it's cheaper products that we know will break and need to be thrown away, but we're encouraged to buy them. You know, again, with advertising, we see so many things advertised on price. You know, the rise of pound shops, the likes of Amazon and eBay. Just an example, you know, one high quality razor creates much less waste than lots of disposable products. And it's the same concept with reusable bottles and mugs. Now, this is an important point. We can also donate items. So in Islam, we talk about zakat, giving money to charity. It's not just about money, but also items that we love. There is a famous hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that says, you know, you are not a true believer until you desire for your neighbor what you desire for yourself. And it's the same with all the other religions. You know, this is called the golden rule. Equally, second-hand things, you know, culturally, we don't do it, I think, as much as we used to. Maybe our forefathers and foremothers used to. But we are encouraged to buy new things all the time. Even renting things, you know, we think about expensive items, maybe at a wedding time or something. We might only use these things once in our life, but we buy them. And let's think about the impact on the environment there. For those of you watching or here who are from London or have been there, there's libraries opening there, not for books, but for items, so you can rent them. I come to the most important thing, which is to reduce. So whether, you know, we are a seller, whether we are a business person or a buyer, we need to think beyond just profit, beyond money and economic growth. You know, Moiz uncle said yesterday, you know, Bora, we are business people. It's natural to us. But also, अपने विचार करो जो है कि environment ने सु नुकसान कर से अपने ले सके छे. There is a Cree Indian proverb. Now, Cree Indians are the largest group of indigenous people in North America, one of the largest groups. And they say, only when the last tree has died, the last river has been poisoned, the last fish has been caught, will we realize we cannot eat money. So we need to try and buy only what we need. And this is a hard thing to do. You know, I'll go into a shop, you know, you're just in town and you go into a shop and you're like, oh, I don't need anything. You come out with like 10 things. And this is just normal, you know, and it might be something you didn't plan for. And it's great if we use that, but we might only use it 1 or 2 times and then it's stuck in our wardrobe. I'm not advocating for kind of living in the hills and doing nothing and, you know, not buying anything at all. But let's think about what really gives us meaning when we buy things. There's a brilliant documentary on if you've got Netflix or the internet called Minimalism, and it's a really interesting documentary that gets us thinking about this. The disposable culture, you know, we see our plates, tissues at restaurants, little ketchup packets filled with, you know, with plastic on them, wet wipes. This is all normal. These are quick fixes that have arisen just for our convenience. Now, convenience is good, of course, you know, it's nice. But when you think about more and more we're buying and the rising population, you know, by 2025, there will be 8 billion people in this world. So when does it end? When will the earth say to us, there's no more? The oceans are full of plastic. You know, there's too much, all the landfill sites are filled up. When will that happen? I'll touch on the human impact. You know, if we think about the fashion industry, before there used to be 4 seasons for those of you that remember, you know, spring, summer, autumn and winter, these were collections. Now, how many do we see? 52. Every week, new lines added, you know, buy one, get one free, 3 for 2, more and more clothes. What is the impact on the producers, the people who make these clothes? A lot of them might be our brothers and sisters in India or Bangladesh. How much are they paid in wages? You know, I read there was even a scandal in Leicester recently this year where they found some factories that were selling to some of the big retailers, and these people were not even paid a minimum wage. Technology. I look at my phone and I think after 1 year, no, it's not good enough. I need another one. You know, we've got a beautiful thing, you know, technology, the phone, the mobile, it's done so many good things. I'm not saying we ditch it, but have we lost that balance when we replace them every single year? Again, we benefit in the rich world while those in the poor world suffer who make all these things. We talked about advertising. Let us be mindful of something called greenwashing. You know, you see more of the environmental things on the agenda now. You know, shops will talk about these things. Oh, this is sustainable, this is recycled. Let us use our critical thinking and do some research. And it's about trust. You know, it's about supporting the good things and people and businesses we trust. For those of us in Leicester, in St. Martin's Square, there is a shop that's called Nada that's just opened. It's a zero waste shop. So you take your own containers, your own bags, and you fill up what you need and you go back. Similarly, just off Catherine Street, there's Leicester Whole Food Co-op, which is, you know, a more ethical supermarket, although they wouldn't call themselves that. And equally, there's Just Fair Trade in Leicester, which try and stock stuff that actually people are paid a fair wage for. There's many more of these things. And it's about supporting independent local businesses. You know, we think about our Bora businesses. So many of us made our money as self-employed people. You know, apni dukan hati, you know, apne small businesses hati, you know, people used to mansa apne rozi deta. But in the same way, if we give back to small businesses, you know, this is a good thing and we can keep money in the local economy. Closer to home, you know, I had a brilliant story from her father. I'm sorry to embarrass her, but it made me so happy. Our Layla, you know, when I talked about palm oil yesterday, I found out she doesn't eat Nutella, you know, the chocolate spread. Why is that? Because it's got palm oil in. What a brilliant, you know, example. Similarly, I found out Sharifan aunties making bags from old shirts to put your plates in. This is exactly the type of thing we need to start thinking about, reusing things to help our environment. So to kind of look to my conclusion, we've discussed over the last 3 days, we know we do serious harm to the environment and humans if we continue to exploit the earth at the current rate. Maybe we need to think about the purpose of our lives. What are we here for? What's the point of lives? Are we here to buy, hoard, and just keep things for ourselves at the expense of the planet? And also, are we depriving our children and their children of a clean environment? If we think about contentment, you know, we want happiness for all of us. This is what keeps us going. You know, can we really achieve that just through buying and keeping items? Because once we have something, we might want something else. You know,
I want something now, the next thing that comes out, I will want that. When I have that, I may want something else, and it could be like a cycle. So to end, if I, ask us to consider Moharram and the story of Karbala, we know they had no food, no water. They were being harassed. You know what terrible conditions they are. We hear from the story that Imam Hussein asked his followers to leave the night before Ashura. He said, you know what, it's not my problem. It's not your problem. This is my issue. This is my battle. You guys go. But they didn't. Not one of them went. Even in those terrible physical conditions, they had found such purpose and meaning in their life to stay. They were content with the path they were on. In our relatively luxurious lives, with all the comforts that we've got, let's think about what gives us real meaning in life beyond the objects and focus on that. Inshallah, we can derive some spiritual benefits maybe from that, as well as help protect our environment. Sometimes it is difficult to come out of our comfort zone, I know, especially when society is going, one way. It feels like it's going very fast. But remember, when we think about us as humanity, as humans, the saying goes, whilst a ship is safe in the harbor, that's not what it was built for. And we can, inshallah, try and change ourselves and be the change we wish to see in the world. Even doing something little is better than nothing. And I'll just illustrate this from a short story to end. And there was a tourist who once visited a saint. She was astonished to see that the saint's home was only a room filled with some books, a mat, and a lantern. So she said, "Where is your furniture?" She asked the saint. And the saint said to her, "Where is yours?" "Mine? But I'm only a visitor here." And the saint said, "So am I." So we are all visitors here in this world. And to think about a very poignant Hazrat Ali quote that says, "Every breath we take is a step closer towards death." Now, I'm not trying to be morbid here, but it helps us to encourage us to think about our time here being only temporary and trying to make the most of what we've got with each other and in service to others, not just for each other, but also our environment and the plants and animals with it. I will try and translate this into Gujarati to end. Here we go. તો એક મુસાફર હતો અને એ એક સૂફીને મળવા ગઈ હતી. તો એને એમ થયું કે સૂફીના ઘરે તો નાનું ઘર જ છે, નાનો રૂમ જ છે, ને એમાં થોડી કિતાબો છે, એક મેટ છે સુવાનો ને એક ફાનસ છે. તો એ સૂફીને પૂછ્યું કે તમારી બધી વસ્તુ ક્યાં છે? તો સૂફીએ કીધું તારી વસ્તુ બધી ક્યાં છે? તો મુસાફરે કીધું મારી વસ્તુ, હું તો અહીંયા ખાલી મહેમાન છું. તો સૂફીએ કીધું હું આ દુનિયાનું મહેમાન છું. સો હઝરત અલીએ આ શાનમાં કીધું છે કે આપણે હરેક શ્વાસ લઈ છે એનો એક એક પગલો આપણે મોત તરફ જાય છે. તો આપણે વિચાર કરે કે આપણે આજે એક દિવસ અહીંયા છે ને એક દિવસ નથી. તો આપણે ઇન્શાલ્લાહ આપણે એકબીજાનું સેવા કરી શકે, આપણા માટે નહીં પણ પ્રાણીઓ અને જાનવરો માટે ઇન્શાલ્લાહ. તમારો ખાસ આભાર, તમે મારો સાંભળ્યું છે 3 દિવસ સુધી. Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate, it's been a privilege to kind of speak to you. Any comments here, let me know. Thank you very much. Salawat. It's a timer, boys. I've got not to say much.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال إني ذاهب إلى ربي سيهدين ربي هب لي من الصالحين فبشرناه بغلام حليم فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى
قال يا أبتي أفعل ما تؤمر سجدوني إن شاء الله من الصابرين فلما أسلم وتله وللجبين وناديناه يا إبراهيم قد صدقنا الرؤيا إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إن هذا لهو البلاء المبين وفدينا بذبح عظيم وتركنا عليه في الآخرين سلام على إبراهيم كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. A small reading from Surah Al-Safa, which is Surah 37, ayah number 99 to 106. Sorry, 110. So he said, I will go to my Lord, he will surely guide me. O my Lord, grant me a righteous son. So we gave him the good news of a boy ready to suffer and forbear. Then when the son reached the age of serious work with him, he said, O my son, I see in vision that I offer thee in sacrifice. Now see what is thy view. The son said, O my father, do as thou art commanded. Thou wilt find me, if God so wills, one practicing patience and constancy. So when they had both submitted their wills to God, and he had laid him prostrate on his forehead for sacrifice, we called out to him, O Abraham, thou hast already fulfilled thy vision. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right. And for this was obviously a trial, and we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice. And we left this blessing for him among generations to come in later times. Peace and salutations to Abraham. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right, for he was one of our believing servants. Yesterday I briefly talked about Zib al-Azim, and this is about Zib al-Azim. So the Quran is telling us that Ibrahim alayhi salam's vision, he tried to convert, he tried to follow the message of Allah. And if you go to Hajj, or those who have been to Hajj, and during when you go to Mina after the day of Arafah in Muzdalifah, then you go and throw some pebbles at the shayateen. There are 3 shayatins there. Yeah, and this is a rasam we have to follow. It is a compulsory rasam. But what it is just little pebbles. So you go Muzdalifah, you sleep the night there, and then you pick up 49 pebbles, and you cannot take more, because if you do take more, you're in trouble. You have to go back to Muzdalifah and put them down. You can't throw them anywhere you think you can. So it is a compulsory requirement that you pick 49 only. So you can't cheat. Just in case one falls down, nothing of that kind. You have to take 49, and you go to Mina. On the first day you arrive, you do 7 on the big shayateen. Then after that, you follow with 7 on each of them for the next 3 days. These are the thoughts that Ibrahim alayhi salam had when he had this vision. And what the thoughts were is, this must be a dream. It can't be true. How can somebody ask me to sacrifice my child? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam, if you, the Quran is talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam asking from dua of a son from Allah. So now Allah has granted him a son, and then Allah is then asking him to sacrifice him. So you can imagine what the father is now going through. Yeah? I mean, it's quite a tremendous thing to ask. But then these are what prophets have been asked to do, some serious things for our own benefit. And again, it comes to taqwa now, isn't it? Ibrahim alayhi salam is in sync with God. He doesn't argue with God. He says, if Allah is asked, I have to go with it. And then he asks his son, who is just come of age. And the son is with him because Ismail alayhi salam is a prophet as well. So he is in sync with God. He's got taqwa. He's got God consciousness. He's not afraid. His father is saying, this is the dream I've had. He says, Bismillah, go for it. So obviously Ibrahim alayhi salam gets his son ready for sacrifice. But Allah accepts that action of his and converts that sacrifice into a ram, and we have the Bakra Eid as a result of that. Yeah, but look what Allah does now. Allah likes that ibadat so much that He has made it incumbent upon all Muslims forever to perform that ibadat. So now you think about your ibadat. You never know what Allah will give as a result of that ibadat. Yeah, He will like it so much that probably He will reward you in multiple fold. And these are the stories from the Quran. Why the stories of the Quran come in this manner is they're trying to guide. They're trying to tell you what the people in the past have done. And we as human beings nowadays, we like to try everything ourselves. And sometimes I think it's a fallacy. I would dearly like to have the experience of somebody else and not make that mistake, because that saves me a lot of time. Because it might take me 20 years to come to that point where that man is already there. So why do I want to waste so much of my 20 years thinking about કે હું કરું, મને જો એહસાસ થાય તો પછી હું આગળ વધું. But then somebody has already done it and they are guiding you કે ભાઈ આ ના કરો. આપણા વડીલો છે, આપણે કહેતા કે ચોરી કઈ ખરાબ કરીએ છોકરા. I remember in Masindi કે everybody was a father to every child. I remember that quite clearly. Do we have so many fathers these days in the community? I don't think so. Because if you were to tell a child of now, the father or the mother would come and say, how dare you tell my child off? But I remember quite clearly, I grew up in that environment where I was told by about 20 fathers. It's quite true though. And this is something which we have lost. The modern society, we have lost this trust. Because those people in the past were of a very clean heart. They didn't have any wrong thinking about this was, and that slapping or whatever was done with a lot of love. There is a slap and then there is a slap. Yes, we hopefully you understand what I'm saying. But that's where it's coming from. Yeah, and so the Zib Azim. And it says in the Quran, and this is where the interpretation is going on to Imam Hussain. And Allah says to Ibrahim, I have completed your vision. Your vision is fine. Okay. And the momentous sacrifice, Allah says that, and we left this blessing for him among generations to come in later times. Now, if you look at history, there hasn't been any other sacrifice of that nature other than Imam Hussain. You look at all the prophets that came after Ibrahim alayhi salam, right up to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but there has been no sacrifice of that nature except Imam Hussain. And all Mufassirun are people who do tafsirs of Quran. Yeah, and all of them agree on that basis that this particular ayah relates to Imam Hussain because of the grand sacrifice that he made. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim wa sadaqa nabiyyuna Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wa ala wa ahli bayti tahirin salawatullahi ajmain. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. My Lord, expand for me my breast, make my affairs easy for me, and untie a knot from my tongue that they may understand my speech. This is the dua I'm making. And this dua was made by Prophet Musa alayhi salam in the Quran, Surah Taha, Surah number 20, verse 25 to 28. Assalamu alaikum jamiyan wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I did the tafsir of the ayat before I did this only because I thought it was quite important to focus on that, because sometimes when you get into the other things, you tend to lose what the Quran is trying to say. So inshallah, let's continue. What I want to start with today, I want to change the program in my mind a little bit, and hopefully in your minds as well. So I want to start with a story from Karbala, and then we will move on to the topics we've been talking about. Because I've been told for the last 2 days that the masaibs are not coming through because the time disappears. So what I want you to do is, we have been talking about the stories of Karbala, and we've been hearing the stories of Karbala for, I don't know, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. It's the same stories. Yeah, they don't change. Do they change? I mean, those people who know, I bet you that most of the elderly people at least will know all of these stories by heart. They will know exactly what's going to happen next. Yes? Yeah, we agree. We are on agreement on that level. That we know them inside out. I mean, you could actually recite them without me having to recite them for you. So what I want you to do now is, because the stories are quite prominent in your minds, I want to cast your mind's eye to Karbala. Go to Karbala in your mind. Okay? Or even if you can't go to Karbala because you've not been there, you don't know where it is, first of all, possibly. But at least a piece of land or whatever, go there with your mind now, and consider the circumstances that Imam Hussein alayhi salam with his family, friends and comrades were trapped in. Surrounded by a very, very large army. I don't want to talk about figures. Figures are just figures, but it was a large army. They say that Kufa was empty of any male eligible person to come to go to war. So Kufa is a big city in those days. So you can imagine it's almost empty. So how many people must have gone for this so-called war? Yeah. So it's a large army, and they've laid Imam Hussein under siege from water for the last 3 days before Ashura. And we've heard this story so many times. Yeah? It's a monumental episode of tragedy. It's a monumental episode of tragedy. And I, in my humble capacity, I'm telling you, I cannot go down this route. It is too emotional for me. It burns a lot of emotion in me. And I cannot express. I'm not a khatib. I'm just a student. These are special people who can deliver this message across. I'm not that person. So I will talk about it in my own language. Because even yesterday, when that little boy read about from whatever, the boy was beautiful. He brought tears in my eyes straight away. Because what I tend to do with Karbala, I cast my eye there. I'm there. And I'm looking at the whole aspect, what is happening in Karbala. Because that is the only way we can make connection. Because a story is here and the story is there and is gone. Okay, a little bit of Gujarati, which is very difficult for me, I'll be very honest with you. I'm very poor in Gujarati. So હું વાત શું કરવા માંગુ છું કે આ બધી મસાઈબ જે આપણે મોહરમના દિવસોમાં પડીએ છે, તો એ આપણે મોઢે યાદ છે. તમને એ લોકોને મારી જરૂર નથી કે હું કેવી રીતે એની વાત કરું, બીકોઝ મારા પાસે એટલી શક્તિ પણ નથી કે હું એ વાત કરી શકું એવી રીતના. તો હું એમ કહું છું કે તમે તમારા દિમાગને ઇંગ્લિશમાં એમ કહે છે કે mind's eye. So if I translate it, it doesn't mean anything in Gujarati. There might be a better word in Gujarati for that, what a mind's eye means. But આપણે એમ વિચાર કરીએ, કરબલા પહોંચી જાય. આપણા મગજ, આપણા દિમાગથી કરબલા પહોંચી જાય. અને આપણે એ કરબલાનો જે નજરાનો જે માહોલ હતો એના ઉપર વિચાર કરીએ કે ઇમામ હુસૈનની મુસીબતને આપણે યાદ કરીએ કે એ કેવી મુસીબતના અંદર ત્યાં છે કે એક નાનો એવો કાફલો છે અને એક ઘણી મોટી આર્મી એના સામે આવી છે. એ એની ફેમિલીને લઈને ગયા છે, એના દોસ્તારોને લઈને ગયા છે અને આ લોકો એને ખાલી મારવા પૂરતા આવ્યા છે. તો તમે ઇમેજિન, હવે આપણે એમ વિચાર કરીએ અને પછી I don't want to use the word dushman because that is, I think, to me, that is kind of saying that there is a war here. And I'm thinking that there is no war here. It is not a war. You do not go to a war with 72 people. That is not, call it a war. And that is why I find it that sometimes when these words are used, they don't describe it to the extent that it needs to be. આપણે એને એમ કહીએ કે આ વોર, what is the word for war in Gujarati? Sorry, લડાઈ. આ લડાઈ નથી. This is not a લડાઈ. લડાઈ happens between two equal parties. This is somebody, આ કાફલો એવો હતો કે જે સચ્ચાઈ વાસ્તે ઉભા રહ્યા, એક પ્રિન્સિપલ વાસ્તે ઉભા રહ્યા કે એક વસ્તુ ખોટી થઈ રહી છે, એના ઉપર બેઅત નથી દેવી. મૌલાના હુસૈનનો ખાલી એક જ કોલ હતો કે યઝીદને બેઅત ના દેવી. It's like us accepting somebody, going and shaking hands with somebody you know is a tyrant. આપણું દિલ ના માને કે આપણે, I hope કે આપણા પાસે એટલી હિંમત આવે કે આપણે એના સામે ઉભા રહીને કે ના, I am not subscribing to you. We would find it difficult. Maulana Hussain did not find it difficult at all. Because you see, again, and I'm going to repeat this, you can rise up when you have a very clear conscience, આપણું દિલ સાફ હોય અને આપણે ખુદા વાલા હોય તો, આપણે ખુદાને પારખતા હોય, ખુદાને ઓળખતા હોય તો જ આપણામાં એ હિંમત આવે, નગર ના આવે. You cannot stand in front of a tyrant who is got a gun in front of your face and say, I'm going to shoot you if you don't subscribe to me. But Hussein was not bothered about that. See, because they already knew they were going in that direction. એ લોકોની ડાયરેક્શન તો પહેલેથી નક્કી હતું કે એ ડાયરેક્શનમાં જવાનું છે લોકોને. So they already knew. So there was nothing new for them. So he stood up. He stood up. એ ઊભા થયા યઝીદના સામે. And then the story is history. You'll hear this. You pick any historical book. Pick any historical book about this, about not even Karbala. Don't talk about Karbala. Actually, Islamic history books, if you pick up, they will talk about this in endless detail as to how Yazid did all what he did. He sent him. It's all there. But it is recorded in history. We lament about it because we subscribe to being the followers of the Ahlul Bayt. That's why we lament about it. But it's there in history as well. For example, Sunni મુસલમાનોને ત્યાં આશુરાના દિવસે એ લોકો રોઝા કરે છે. They actually fast as well. So they do hold it in fairly high esteem. Ashura is in a very good esteem. They hold it in. There are a lot of schools of thought now have started talking about Hussein on day of Ashura as well. It is quite common now. It's a very common thing, but they don't probably go to the extent that we do. But that's fine. That's okay. It has started, isn't it? It has started. The starting is only happening because you have to try to explain what happened. Don't get emotional about it. It's a historical nation. Don't reason it out. Reason it out with these people. That's the only way to go. It's actually about education, isn't it? It's all about education, what you know about it. And you talk about it in that way. Don't get emotional about it. So, from my perspective, it is not a war. It is definitely not. It was a stance against, with Imam Hussein taking responsibility. that I must do something about this. This is not right. And that's all he did. So Imam Hussein took full responsibility to stand against falsehood, oppression, coercion, corruption, and the misleading of the people. That's what his stance. But because the enemy is going to attack, you have to physically defend as well. You can't just let them kill you. So they had to physically defend themselves against huge odds to taste the bliss of Shahadat. Rules of engagement in those days was a duel. ત્યારના જમાનામાં જ્યારે કોઈ લડાઈ થાય તો 1-to-1 બેસિસ ઉપર થાય. એક સિપાઈ એ લોકોનો આવે, એક સિપાઈ તમારો જાય, અને you fight it out with sword or whatever means of weaponry you have got at the time. And this was a general rule in those days. It was a duel. It was supposed to be a duel. એક અહીંયાથી જાય, એક અહીંયાથી જાય. But did that happen? આપણે સ્ટોરી બધી સાંભળીએ તો એક ઇમામ હુસૈનના તરફથી કોઈ ગયું હોય તો આખી ટુકડી એના પર કૂદી પડે, સ્પીયર. અને આ પર્ટિક્યુલર જ્યારે લડાઈ થઈ ને ત્યારે there was a particular thing which was discussed and agreed upon. કે no spears and no lances would be thrown. એટલે spear is તીર અને ભાલા યુઝ કરવામાં નહીં આવે. Because Imam Hussein પાસે તો ખાલી 72 હતા, આ લોકો પાસે તો હજારો હતા ને. So there was actually a discussion and it was decided કે તીર અને ભાલા નહીં યુઝ થાય આ વોરના અંદર, આ લડાઈના અંદર. What happened? That was not supposed to happen happened. So every single person from Imam Hussein's camp who died in Ashura, everybody had a tear in them. Every single one of them. Other atrocities to પછી બીજા પણ થયા, પણ બધાયના ઉપર તીર તો વરસાવ્યા અને બધાયને તીરે લાગ્યા છે. So the man is there standing, with huge odds against him, huge odds. So today, traditionally, 7th Rat, and we talk about Hazrat Abbas. We heard the Marashia earlier on about Hazrat Abbas as well. And just a very quick, brief history of Hazrat Abbas. Son of Ali, and Fatima binte Hizam is his mother, who in our circles is known as Ummul Banin, the mother of the sons. That is what that Arabic word means. Is mother, Banin is sons. Plural of Bani is son, one son. Banin is many sons. So Fatima bint Hizam's title is Ummul Banin. Yeah. So when you come across that name, either in a Marashia or then you're talking about the wife of Hazrat Ali, the mother of Hazrat Abbas. So Hazrat Abbas and Imam Hussein are half brothers, because Imam Hussein is from Hazrat Ali and Ma Fatimatu Zahra, and Hazrat Abbas is from Hazrat Ali and Fatima binte Hizam, Ummul Banin. So they are half brothers. And Hazrat Abbas, as we also heard in the Marashia as well, that he was always subservient to Imam Hussein. He never looked up to Imam Hussein in the sense of never raised his head in front of Imam Hussein, always like a servant, and always used to call him master, 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 because Imam Hussein is an imam of the time. And out of respect, Hazrat Abbas never ever looked directly at him. And this is all about respect. It's all about teachings from before, where their mothers had told them that Imam Hussein is a very special person, and he is your imam. So you are going to be subservient. If you, I don't know how many of you, but in the beginning period when Yazid came onto the Khilafat and wanted the Bay'at, Imam Hussein was called to to their offices in Medina with the idea that એના ઉપરથી એના સાથે બેગ લે, but they called him very late at night. ત્યારે કોઈ હોય નહીં પછી. તો ઇમામ હુસૈનને એ લોકોએ બોલાવ્યા અને કીધું come down. So Imam Hussein thought કે આ રાતના શું કામ બોલાવ્યા? દિવસના શું કામ નહીં? So he had a little doubt હતો થોડો કે there's some mischief going on here. એટલે ઈ અબ્બાસ અલમદાર જનાબે અકબર એ લોકોને લઈને ગયા કે તમે બારે ઊભા રહેજો, હું અંદર જઈશ, મારો અવાજ ઊંચો થાય તો તમે અંદર આવી જાજો કે you know that something is wrong. So if I raise my voice in the discussion, you will hear my voice. When I've raised my voice, come down for my help. So they stood outside. And the discussion happened between the governor of Medina at the time and Imam Hussein. And he said to Imam Hussein, Yazid is asking for bayat. And Imam Hussein says, you're not getting it. You know, tane Yazid ne hu bayat apano nathi. It starts getting quite agitated discussion. Imam Hussein raises his voice. Abbas rushes in. So Abbas was always there for Imam Hussein. As soon as they see Abbas, they all quieten down because they know now you don't want to get involved with Abbas Alamdar. It's too strong for them. You know, they say that if Abbas wanted to, he could destroy the whole of that army if he wanted to. But you see, it was not a war. Karbala was not a war. Do you think that these Bani Hashims were just like ordinary people? These are people of valor. They had, you know, they knew what warfare is all about. They could defend themselves easily. There are no issues. But they had succumbed to the will of Allah. Allah wanted the shahadat from them. So they gave up. Imam Hussein told them, we know the story about what happened at just before Ashura. They took one night extra time, etc., just for the sake of, you know, ibadat, reflection on which journey they are going on to, and then obviously shahada on the day after. So one whole day of extension happened only. For the night extension was only given because of the request for prayers, for ibadat. You know, so Abbas asks for permission to go to fight the enemy, but Imam Hussein is not going to give that permission, is he? Because he's right hand man. See, Abbas Alamdar means the standard bearer. So in any group of people, there is always a recognition standard. Yeah. So, like for example, we have Dawoodi Bohra Welfare Society, and we have a particular emblem or logo or whatever. Yeah. So even back in that day, they used to have flags, logos, which told somebody from far away, who is this party coming. But the ships hoy, to ships super particular flags hoy. Is it a particular country flag or a pirate ship? Because they had a particular flag as well. They had a standard as well. The pirates had a standard as well. So Imam Hussein had a standard, and the standard bearer was Hazrat Abbas. That is why he's called Alamdar. The name Alamdar comes from that. And Alamdar in such a small army is a very important person, very, very important person, because they are the ones who move these people forward. You know, they need somebody very, very strong up there saying that, okay, and they will not let the alam ever go, because you know, you've seen in many movies as well, when the flag goes down, then the enemy knows we are winning. Yeah, that's quite standard in a warfare situation. So Alamdar with Hazrat Abbas is not going down. Either he's going down, but the alam is not going down. And that is how strong this. And the enemy knew this. The enemy knew this very, very well. That while Abbas is there, they cannot touch this little group of people. So when obviously Hazrat Abbas asked for permission to go, Imam Hussein is a bit reluctant. But then Sakina, the story is that Bibi Sakina comes and says that the children are very, very thirsty. We need water. So this is a way out for Abbas now. So he goes to Imam Hussein and says, children need water and I need to go. So obviously he goes. And this obviously water in those days is water skins. And Hazrat Abbas fights the enemy and makes it to the Furat, which is the Euphrates, the river Euphrates. But not the main river, probably a dike or something, because rivers have dikes, little branches of the river. He makes it to the dike and starts filling in the water, but doesn't drink the water because he's obviously knows that there are other people who are very, very thirsty. And that's a very difficult thing to do, isn't it? I mean, we ourselves know that if you're thirsty, the water is there. You want to drink that water, man. You know. But he doesn't do that. And he picks up the mushk, puts it on his right shoulder, starts going towards the khayma. But he's getting the commander at the time, Umar bin Saad, who is in that particular group of people who is come after Abbas. He announces that if Abbas this water, we are not winning this war. We are definitely not winning this. Because if water reaches that khayma of Hussein, so he says, we have to sort this out now. So what they do is they change the rules of engagement and they attack him with a lot of people, with arrows. And obviously the arrows are going in his body, but one particular person he's hiding behind comes and cuts his hand off, right shoulder, he cuts it off. But Hazrat Abbas puts it on his left shoulder. Similarly, his left shoulder gets maimed, taken off as well. Now, just think about that scenario. You've got a person there on a horse without any hands. There are no hands there. There's no arms. And I don't know what kind of words I want to use here, but he manages to the water skin in his teeth. But the arrows are coming all over the place, and one of the arrow pierces the water skin and the water falls out. And that is Abbas done now. Because his aim was to get the water to the khayma. But he cannot do that because there's no water left now. And he knows that he hasn't got the capacity now to go back to the Furat to get the water. So what he does, he turns his horse around. And he goes at the enemy. Now he's going at the enemy. Before he was running, he was moving away from the enemy. After he's lost his hands, the water is gone. He turns back and runs into the enemy. Yeah. And obviously the enemies, attack him all over the place, beating after beating, and somebody hits it's called just give me 2 seconds, please. It's called a gurz. Somebody hits him with a gurz. I haven't found a good explanation of what this particular instrument is. And he falls down off his horse. Obviously, by this time, Hazrat Abbas has got an arrow in his eye as well, one of the eyes. And he hasn't got the hands to take it off. He's walking, he's there with an arrow in his eye. And just look at that scene. I mean, it's quite disturbing. But he still doesn't give up by attacking into the attack. So once he falls from the horse, Imam Hussein keeps looking after him because that is what Imam Hussein used to do. Everybody who fell on the Maidan, Imam Hussein came for them. Every single one of them. He has come for them. Now, remember this, the Khema is quite far away. Hazrat Abbas has gone towards the enemy, so he's very, very far away from the Khema itself. And obviously, when Hussein alayhi salam comes, Hazrat Abbas asks him to clean his eyes so that he can see the Imam. And I won't put it into words. You imagine now. That's why I said, go to Karbala in your mind. And imagine that scenario, that a brother is looking at another brother who hasn't got an arm, who's got no arms left. He's got a spear, an arrow in his eye. He's bleeding from the other eye. And the brother is asking, clean my eye so I can see you. You know, I mean, so Imam Hussein cleans his eye. Hazrat Abbas looks at him for the very first time, mind you, in a direct gaze, so to speak. And Hazrat Abbas asks Imam Hussein, don't take my body to the camp, because I haven't been able to bring the water for Sakina. I will not be able to face her. કે હું સકીનાને શું જવાબ આપીશ કે પાણી ક્યાં છે? સકીના મને પૂછે કે પાણી ક્યાં છે, તો શું જવાબ આપ? સો હું ગુજરી જાઉં, મારી બોડીને ખેમામાં ના લઈ જતા. Don't take my body. That is why Hazrat Abbas's actual burial place is near the Furat. Where the Zari is in Karbala is not his actual place of burial. He remained there in the water. And sometimes when the water goes down, you can actually go to that. I don't think they are allowed now, but back in the day, you could actually go under the water to that to the place where he actually fell. But I don't think it's allowed nowadays. I don't think so. But there are some people who are soon going to Karbala, and they will be able to feel us a bit better whether that is happening at the moment or not. But anyway, so Imam Hussein, after Imam Hussein then asked Hazrat Abbas, okay, you have never called me brother. You have always called me master, Lord, but you have never called me brother. So now please call me brother now. And it is reported that Hazrat Abbas called Imam Hussein as a brother and passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I hope I do justice to this, because I find this very, very difficult to do. But inshallah, salawat, please. How will we for time? 6:30. Okay. So a quick recap on what we've been kind of discussing. We've been discussing responsibility. Aqeel has done a wonderful job about our responsibility to the environment. And he's obviously made some practical suggestions as well. We talked about responsibility with the family. We talked about responsibility for the community, our own individual responsibilities. And then we spent a good amount of time on namaz as well. See, you ask for water, is here. So we talked about namaz as bringing God consciousness in us. what is called in Arabic taqwa. And the aspects of namaz, which is obviously the salah, is namaz, dhikr, and dua. Yesterday we talked about the practicalities of namaz on the basis that you need a wudu for the namaz, but you might need a ghusl as well. Little bit disappointed that nobody picked me on not having forgotten one particular ghusl. I deliberately left it out, but nobody told me anything about it. So I'm going to mention that today. So I talked about the ghusl of janabat, which is because of copulation, compulsory on both the men and women. Then talked about the ghusl of haid, which is for women after childbirth. Then talked about the ghusl for menstruation as well, for the women after their monthly cycles. Then we talked about a new convert or a revert to Islam. They have to do a ghusl as well. And then we talked about the ghusl that you have to perform after you have made ghusl of a dead body. So the one I forgot or I'm left out was the ghusl of ihtilam, which is described as wet dreams. And it is obviously incumbent upon both men and women. So somebody then also reminded me that it might be that a lot of people don't know how to do ghusl. Possible. It's a modern world. You tend to forget these things sometimes. So how do you do ghusl? So ghusl is a major bath, basically. But you can say shower as well nowadays, yeah? Not necessarily a bath. You don't have to go into the bath. So it's a shower. It's like basically you're washing your body. So it could be a shower. So the sequence is you do your shower like you would do on like a normal shower. Then you do wudu of whichever time that is around that time. And then while you are pouring fresh water on yourself, which is to reach every part of your body in every nook and cranny, whatever, you recite the niyat of a ghusl, which is like, for example, Allahumma inni aqtasilu le ghuslil, whichever ghusl it is. Bismillah Allahu Akbar. That's how you perform ghusl. Yeah. So if, for example, you are doing the ghusl of ihtilam, you do your shower, you do wudu, then you pour fresh, clean water on yourself, and you say, Allahumma inni aqtasilu le ghuslil ihtilami, Bismillah Allahu Akbar. And you keep on doing it until the whole of your body is wet with that, and that's it. That's ghusl. But you have also done the wudu, so if you want to go straight into prayers, you can go into prayers as well. But that's how ghusl is done. Yeah. A story I want to relate about ghusl. There's a person that I know quite dearly. He never used to do ghusl before. So we were talking about this, and I said, I think you should, because your mindset will change. If you do ghusl, your mindset will, and he couldn't understand. So one day, after a few weeks, he came back and he says, you talked to me about I should do ghusl. So I looked it up, I did ghusl. And suddenly in my mind, I was very annoyed, very angry. I used to remain very angry. And I thought that was quite a nice, and he confirmed himself that he was no longer angry in that situation after he had performed ghusl. But anyway, that's just, one of those. So, namaz now. See, the namaz that we do is quite an interesting situation, because this is the only where there is harakat. Harakat in Arabic means movement. Yeah. lot of communities pray, but they don't have harakats in their prayers. Islam is the only religion which subscribes harakat in their prayers, which is movement. So, but many years ago, and this is my personal experience, I joined a class for doing hatha yoga, a particular type of yoga. And while I got into the yoga, I suddenly realized that this is exactly the same as the namaz. I thought, oh, okay. So very interesting. So when it dawned on me, I thought, okay, so here we are. So, and the 3 times of reading like Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdihi, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdihi, if you do that in the way it is subscribed to do or prescribed to do, then you get that movement that you have to stop in the yoga as well. That period of time where you hold that position. And you keep on doing that, your namaz becomes a bit better and better. Because you are doing dhikr with Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdihi. So you're doing 2 things here. You are doing the body a lot of good by that particular movement, and then you are doing dhikr at the same time. How beautiful is that? Yeah. So there is, and then I was talking to, I hope she doesn't mind me her mentioning her name, Fizza Kadarbai. We were here with Chris Ewer in this hall when Chris Ewer came, and she did a yoga session before we went into the meeting. And afterwards, I was just talking to her, and she said that she's connected with namaz now because of yoga. She couldn't see the connection in her namaz, but through yoga, she has made the connection with namaz now. And that's quite, I would, whatever gets you into namaz, I'm okay with. I've got no problems with that. And if you look at it from that point of view, from a practical point of view, the body becomes very supple. Because you see, yoga is also not a strenuous exercise, is it? Those who practice yoga, it's not strenuous, is it? They are very, very slow movements. But that's what namaz is about as well. Namaz is about those slow movements. It's not about jumping up and down or anything like that. And the Sharia probably brought namaz in this particular format because they knew about what the benefits to a human being are in this. So somebody else you know, and I'm going to mention her name as well, another person who is very ardent about yoga is Ruqayya. Yeah, she's quite focused on her yoga. And when I recently went to Canada, we were talking about this again. And she says there's only one thing that is lacking in the namaz, which is in the yoga. And I said, have you thought about it carefully? You are mistaken. And this was the breathing that you do in yoga. So I said to her that have you ever thought about why you are supposed to read the namaz in Arabic? Have you ever thought about it? She said, no. I said, okay, now I'm going to tell you why you read the namaz in Arabic. Arabic, 26 letters, the makhraj of the Arabic are very, very particular. Most of them are in your mouth. Most of them are in your mouth. Then you get into the throat, and then you get into the stomach. If you get into the words which are in the stomach, you have to breathe, which is yoga again. And she said, I never thought. I said, yeah. Why do you think I went to a course for makhraj, from Arabic? To practice that. That is why the Arabic reading in the namaz is very important. On the basis that it is doing something to you which you would not otherwise be able to do. It cleans your palate. It strengthens your tongue. it reinforces your throat, and it breathes. It gives you breathing from here, because yoga teaches you that breathing from your inner stomach is much better than anywhere else. Yeah, the doctors, the medics probably might agree with this, and that's quite true. So look at the benefits. Look at the benefits there. And this is your everyday life. You're doing it 5 times a day. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. So my next point that I want to make is, when you embark on namaz, what I would like to say on a practical level is, join an Arabic class, please. Even if it is only for learning how to pronounce the letters of the Arabic, because you will find the beauty in that. There's a beauty in there which you will not find anywhere else. The connections with the way those sounds come out, in what it does to your body, you need to do that. Only for the namaz do it. Start learning the Arabic. Ane pachi, once you get the makhraj right, get a little bit involved with what alhamdu actually means, or the other surahs that you are going to read. We are at the moment very blessed as a community that we have got all the du'as of the salah in our kitabu salat and our way of life in English. There is no excuse for not knowing what it means. May Allah be pleased with Mr. Luqmani. I must say, he's done a wonderful, wonderful job in a beautiful English that a translation would not be able to produce. And we are blessed. We are actually blessed with that. So we should be thankful to him for leaving us such an amanat here. So this, you see, learning should never stop. Learning should never ever stop. If you think you know enough, then you don't know anything. It's a simple adage. If you think today that you know everything, you just don't know anything at all. You haven't even started yet. And learning is something which never diminishes. એમાં બરકત જ હોય છે. આપણે ઇલ્મ ચાલુ કરીએ તો એમાં બરકત જ હોય, એ ઓછું થાય જ નહીં કોઈ દિવસ. એમાં વધારો થતો હોય. તમે આજે આ શીખા તો કાલે બીજું શીખી લીધું. But એ વધારો થતો જાય, and then one thing leads to another, and whatever. So these are I need to get to the practical stage because it's quite important. I just don't want to make a lecture. I'm not a lecturer. I'm a practical man. I'm a practical man. I need to see things in practice. Then I get a lot of energy out of that, and it's good. Because it's good. It's been good for me. So I want to share that goodness with you as well. And I'm still on a journey. I have begun my journey. I've just begun it now. So, who knows where it takes. And as we said just earlier on, how much life have we got? Every breath is taking you to death. So you don't know how much life you got in this world. But the bigger life is out there. The longer life is the next life. And these are things to ponder about. These are things to ponder about. Okay, still sticking to namaz, something which is very dear to me. We are a very small community. And then as reformists, we are still even a minute community. As a Dawoodi Bohra, we are a very small community. And then as reformists, we are even a smaller community. And we haven't got resources. We haven't got the resources. We haven't got the books disappeared because all the reformists, if you look around, they are ordinary people. They never had a handle on the books. The books were with the so-called learned people who disappeared with whoever they disappeared with. So we got left with zilch. આપણા પાસે કાંઈ ના રહ્યું બાકી. બધું એ લોકો લંચાઈ લાગ્યા બધું. But there is still there enough for us to continue with it. So આપણે લોકો self-help group, આપણે એકબીજાની મદદથી આપણે આગળ વધીએ. So you learn a bit, I learn a bit, he learns a bit, and we move forward. And one particular thing which I think is very important, especially because there is an aged population in most of our towns, but there is also quite a nice upcoming younger generation as well, who are quite willing, who are quite focused, who want to do something. The elders should kind of look at that in a very positive way and say, yes, go for it, you know. And my particular thing is that, you know, there's quite a lot of youngsters in our community who are very, very good with their reading of the Arabic, their understanding of the Arabic. They are focused on the madhab itself, namaz, very particular with namaz, etc. They're quite focused. And I think they should be given opportunity. You know, imamat namaz, as we know, તમે એકલા નમાઝ પઢો તો તમને એક નમાઝનો સવાબ છે, બરાબર છે? કરેક્ટ મી ઇફ આઈ એમ રોંગ હિયર. તમે ઇમામતમાં નમાઝ પઢો તો તમને 12 નમાઝનો સવાબ મળે. Yeah, okay. So that is why imamat namaz is encouraged. પછી ઇમામત નમાઝની પાછી બ્યુટી શું કે તમે સાથે રહીને પઢો ને બધા, તો પછી ત્યાં પછી કોઈ ડિફરન્સ નથી હોતો ને કે આ બાદશાહ આવ્યો, ફકીર આવ્યો, બધા એક લાઈનમાં છે. That's the beauty of it, yeah. So if you આપણે ઈ પ્રમાણે જોઈએ તો it's quite important. હવે આપણે આ હોલમાં નમાઝ ઇમામતની પઢીએ તો because this is not a masjid, તો ઈ 12 નમાઝનો સવાબ મળે. કોઈ મસ્જિદ હોય તો ઈ 25 માં જાય. If it's a mosque તો ઈ 25 માં જાય. પછી then that category increases. આપણે જો હરમમાં જઈને પઢીએ તો 50,000 નો સવાબ છે, you know. અને આપણે મસ્જિદ નબવીમાં જઈને પઢીએ કે મસ્જિદ અલ અક્સા ઇન પેલેસ્ટાઇનમાં જઈને પઢીએ, જેરુસલમ રાધર, તો પછી એના you know 20,000 છે ને 15,000 છે ને એવી રીતના છે. So I started with sawab, if you remember, in my first lecture. This is not a bargain. It's not a bargaining thing. मैं आटलो मने सवाब मली गयो नमाज नहीं पढ़ो. Idea is to encourage. Blessings મળે છે ને, વધારે blessings મળી જાય. એકના બદલે 12 મળતા હોય તો why not? We are business people. Why not? So that's what I say. So હવે ઇમામત નમાઝ કરવાની હોય તો I think we should have young people you must encourage young people to get ready. They are ready. I know, I can see them. But we need to start them off. We really need to start them off. Because, you know, there is a big movement at the moment in the Islamic world where women have started leading prayers. Yeah. As a community, think about this. Have we got the capacity to accept that? Have we got the capacity to accept that? We are not even allowing women to read Marashias in a mixed gathering. So let alone a woman leading prayers where a man is behind a woman. I think we are quite far away. So I think we better get the men ready quickly. And I'm big, huh? Not in a mixed gathering, but that's by the by. I'm just making a point here. Must get this chance to these young people to come up. You know, I understand the elders are there, but there are I mean, if I give Leicester as an example where I'm sitting now, then it's Mohsin Bhai or Nurdin uncle. There's only 2 people I see who lead prayers. Mohsin uncle, unfortunately, I can understand, have a breathing problems. So he's not able to cope with that. There's stress. There is a stress involved with it. Don't get me wrong. It's quite a hard thing to do.
We've got Aqeel doing it.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, that's wonderful. I mean, that's where I'm going. I'm going that route.
But people to get ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah.
And then we can.
No. It is very important. It is important because you see, this is a service to the community. This is a service to the favors here. This is a service, and it is very important because some people have the capacity to do it. Some people don't have the capacity to do it. You can't. આપણે બધાને તો ના શકે ઊભા થઈને નમાઝ પઢવા માંડો. That doesn't work like that. Yeah. એના condition શું છે? Let's go to the condition કે ઇમામત કોણ પરાવી શકે. There is no such thing as a raza in imamat. કોઈની રજા લેવાની જરૂર નથી. Okay, what is required is being able to recite the Arabic eloquently. The Quran uses the word tartil here. Tartil, beautiful word. Tartil in Arabic, tartil in English would come to harm. What's the word? Music harmony. Yeah. Read it with harmony. Yeah. So there is a musical element to that. So when you get your makhraj, when you get your pronunciations right, it comes out quite eloquent. So that is one of the requirements, that they should be able to read reasonably well the Arabic. And secondly, they must be knowledgeable about the fiqh. આપણું જે fiqh છે, for example, જે દાઉદી બોહરાનું fiqh છે, તો એનું એને ઇલમ હોવું જોઈએ કે એમાં એના શું requirements છે in terms of કે શું કરવાનું, શું ના કરવાનું, etc. And that's fine. અને જો ના પણ હોય અને જરાક better read કરતા હોય તો it's an encouragement, because you see, I'm not saying make mistakes, but then there is the tashhud of sahv as well, to safeguard that. Ne? Sahv no tashahud to change it. Ne? તો mistake થાય તો એ પડી લેવાનું. So it's the facility. See, this is the facility. Ne? આ facility છે ને, મઝહબના અંદર facility already છે ને. એ લોકોને ખબર હતી ને ત્યારે પણ કે આ પ્રોબ્લેમ તો થાય ને કે કોણ ઇમામત નમાઝ પઢાવશે, પણ આ બધી ફેસિલિટી ઇનબિલ્ટ છે ને. પણ વી હેવ ટુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ કે ફેસિલિટી કઈ બાજુ છે. પણ આપણે તો એક જ બાજુ બેસી ગયા કે આ ના રજા નથી તો નથી કરવાનું, કે પછી આ ના થાય, આ ના થાય કે કોઈ વડીલ છે. વડીલ નમાઝમાં ના હોય. There is no hierarchy in namaz. નમાઝ તો ના, આપણામાં એક કન્ડિશન છે કે મિસાક વાળો છોકરાઓ હોવા જોઈએ. That is a condition. So that is part of the requirement. So misak hoy to that's okay. But then there is no other condition ke koi 60 years no each parave. No, that's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. I remember when I started in Birmingham, Hakim Sab came from Canada. Okay. And Faju Kaka told him કે આ છોકરો નમાઝ પઢાવવાનું ચાલુ કર્યું છે તો તમે જો તો એ બરાબર કરે છે કે નહીં, બીકોઝ અમને લોકોને તો કઈ ખબર નથી આ શું ગોટા વાળતો હશે અહીંયા, અમને શું. That's exactly what he told him. એટલે હકીમ સાહેબે બર્મિંગહામનું જે જૂનું જમાતખાનું હતું ત્યાં એ મગરીબની નમાઝ પઢાવી, પછી એ ચાલ્યા ગયા બીજા રૂમમાં. અમે લોકોએ અમારી સુન્નતની નમાઝ ચાલુ રાખી. પાછા આવ્યા તો એ પાછળ ઉભા રહ્યા અને કહે કે નમાઝ પઢાવ. Because ફજુ કાકાએ કીધું કે તમને ક્યાં કીધું કે તમારે નમાઝ પઢાવે, તો છોકરાનું સાંભળવાનું હતું તો તમે પઢાવી નાખી નમાઝ. That because they could talk at that level. Yes, ફજુ કાકા and હકીમ સાહેબ could talk at that level. તો ફજુ કાકા એને થપકો આવ્યો કે આ શું કર્યું તમે, તમને મેં બોલાવ્યા હતા એટલે કે આનું સાંભળવાનું કે આ બરાબર પડે જ કે નહીં, તમે બેસી ગયા નમાઝ પઢાવવા. એટલે પછી એ ઈશાની નમાઝ મેં પઢાવી. He was there reading behind me. Look at this, he's reading behind me. He's an alim, but he's reading behind me. I mean, I was extremely nervous. You got an alim there reading behind me, and I think, good gracious me. But anyway, he then came and says, Subhanallah, you've done very well. Do this, and go carry on. You're on your way anyway. So, and that's all. He didn't say anything else, and that's it. That was it. What I want to do, if you don't mind, I want to share how my journey has been up to here, if you don't mind. It's important only because I want to try to inspire. That's what I'm trying to do really, and hopefully it kind of resonates with some people. In Masindi, I'm going to start back then. As I mentioned before as well, there were elders who were our fathers. One particular Well, two particular people who come to my mind when I talk about this is my grandfather, Rajabali Abdul Ali, and Kamruddin Shamsuddin. Very dear friend of mine, elderly person, but we used to call each other friends. It was only him and myself. We were always present in the Jumat Khana for the Fajr namaz. Only two of us. Even the Mullah Sahib didn't used to come. No, it's true. It's true. I mean, because I was there every single day for the Fajr namaz. Zohar ni ne loka padta se મને ખબર હું તો સ્કૂલે હતો ત્યારે અને સાંજની નમાઝમાં તો બધા ભેગા થાય પણ ફજરની નમાઝમાં ખાલી અમે બે જણા હતા. But he used to encourage me કે તું નમાઝમાં આવી જા. And I used to go. So my journey starts from there. You know, at that, I was probably about 10 years old or something. You know, but because there was this encouragement from a very elderly person who used to call me his friend. And I don't know if some of the Masindi people would remember that many a time when they were on the verandas eating machungas, Masindi used to be quite a common place for eating machungas and things, you know, you know, and it was Kamruddin Mama, I used to call him Mama, and myself, we used to sit on his veranda and discuss things. It was wonderful, wonderful experience. I've never forgotten that. And then, obviously, you come to England, and I went to study industrial chemistry at Huddersfield Polytechnic for a BSc. And when I was there, I met a lot of other Muslims who I had never come across before. And this is 1979 now. So 79, I go to Huddersfield to study industrial chemistry. And I see all these other Muslims. I'm actually living with other Muslims from other countries. So I've got Iranians living with me in the same house. I've got Algerians living with me in the same house. Yeah. And I have also got a Sikh person and a Gujarati Hindu from Leicester, actually. So we are all living together. But it's the Arabs which caught my eye because they were so prompt with their namaz and the reading was so beautiful. And I thought, oh my God. Anyway. Okay. So we used to go out for discussions in Bradford about religion, but it was all in Arabic. I didn't know a single word of Arabic. I thought, oh my God. But, you know, I still used to participate. It was a good experience because Arabic is such a beautiful language when they're speaking. It is such a lovely, lovely language to listen to. So anyway, and then we started on the way back and whatever on the buses and whatever we used to talk about, you know, you made your religion very practical, haven't you? You talk about it and they talk about the Quran like it's a book. You know, they just get a quotation out of there, start discussing it and think, oh my God. So all this and whatever, you know, and as a result of which, it kind of inspired me. So at the Polytechnic, there should be a group of a Muslim society group, etc., whatever. And we used to come together, and there the discussion was in English because they wanted to improve their English because they're new in this country. So I was there, and I used to explain English to them. Yeah, you can say this, you can't say this, you can say it this way, etc., whatever. However little bit I knew about English at the time. And there used to be Friday prayers, khutbahs, for the students. So, and there was a PhD student who used to do the khutbahs for the Friday prayers, and I used to go, I used to join them because these are all friends now, yeah. And the guy announced one day that I cannot continue with this khutbahs because I got my thesis to write and I'm busy, but I will do my prayers on my own. But Friday prayers, I can't commit to the khutbah itself. So they asked me to do it. The students, all these students asked me to do it. And what do I know about this? I have an idea. I'm not even a Sunni. I'm a Shia guy. We don't do khutbahs. You know. So anyway, they persuaded me. And back in that day, there used to be an umbrella organization who used to produce khutbahs for students. So they would send me every week. I would request it and they would send it by post every week. And I would read that, etc., whatever. But that kind of inspired me in a different way. Because what I saw there, and I thought, So I went to our books. That's when I really went into our books. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful thing we have got. You know, we got all this is ready. These people have to work so hard for it. We have got it ready here. So I went into the Sahifas and I read it up. I looked at it, and whatever Gujarati I understood or Urdu that I understand or whatever, it made me understand what this is all about. And that's where I'm coming from, you see. I looked into the books. I started studying them. And I think it is important. It is important for us to take in our own selves to start looking at these things. It's all there. It's beautiful. It really is very beautiful. But you need to look at the cobwebs. Take the cobwebs out of it, and you see the clean religion in front of you. There are a lot of cobwebs, so-called, but it's nothing like that. The flexibility is absolutely amazing. When you see the flexibility that is there, is beautiful, honestly. But okay. So I hope that I'm going to end with this particular thing. It is a privilege to be amongst you, because you have given an opportunity to share my thoughts and ideas about our journey towards Allah, inshallah. By examining the flexibility and the practicality of our beautiful religion through the Dawoodi Borafik. Yeah. So I want wholeheartedly to thank the Leicester committee and you as well for encouraging this, because I have been most encouraged with the comments people have made. It's most inspiring, and I'm really with the bottom of my heart, I'm very, very thankful for you. Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah bless us all. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa salatu wa salam ala sayyidil anbiya wal mursalin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Salawat.
Your explanation was very nice.
What, 20 minutes until Maghrib?
Matami दरिया पे है कोहराम अलमदार मर गया दरिया पे है कोहराम अलमदार मर गया अब्बास इब्ने हैदर कर्रार मर गया अब्बास इब्ने हैदर कर्रार मर गया दरिया में कोहराम अलमदार मर गया जो था अली का शेर और حمزہ کا جانشان.
جو تھا علی کا شیر اور حمزہ کا جانشان،
وہ کربلا کا جعفر تیار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. جن بازوؤں پہ ناز تھا تجھ کو اے مرتضیٰ، جن بازوؤں پہ ناز تھا تجھ کو اے مرتضیٰ، وہ ہاتھ دونوں کٹ گئے دلدار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. پیوست ہو کے مشک میں ایک تیر رہ گیا، پیوست ہو کے مشک میں ایک تیر رہ گیا. پانی گرا نہر پر اور لاچار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. بے آس خیمے کی طرف دیکھا اور دین دار، بے آس خیمے کی طرف دیکھا اور دین دار. آقا مدد کو آؤ وفادار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. سکرا کی طرح دوڑ کر شبیر آ گیا، سکرا کی طرح دوڑ پر شبیر آ گیا. بولے کمر وہ تام کے خنخوار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. ایک شور اٹھا فوج میں سرور کو لوٹ لو، ایک شور اٹھا فوج میں سرور کو لوٹ لو. اب خوف کس کا ہے سپہ سالار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. کاندھے پہ باپ لاتا ہے اکبر کی لاش کو، کاندھے پہ باپ لاتا ہے اکبر کی لاش کو. آئے مدد کو کون مددگار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. اصغر کی قبر اشک سے تر کر دی شاہ نے، اصغر کی قبر اشک سے تر کر دی شاہ نے. پانی کہاں ملے گا اب جرار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. دریا پہ ہے کوہرام علمدار مر گیا. السلام علیک، السلام علیک اے شہید دوسرا، السلام علیک، السلام. السلام علیک اے رسول خدا سرور انبیاء السلام علیک السلام اے نبی کے وسیع رحمت احدی تجھ کو بعد نبی راحت نہ ملی تیرے فرق پہ ظلم کی چلی اے حق کے ولی السلام علیک السلام اے خجستہ سیر بنت خیر البشر تو نے بعد پدر غم سہا عمر بھر گرا پہلو پہ تیرے ظلم کا در اے نبی کے جگر السلام علیک السلام اے جناب حسن خاص ظلم نن جانے خیبر شکن سہ کیا محن ہوا زہر سے سارا سبز بدن اے امام زمن السلام علیک السلام اے شہ کربلا لٹ گیا گھر تیرا بھائی مارا گیا قتل بیٹا ہوا سر کیا تیرا شمر لعین جدا اے امام ہدا السلام علیک السلام اے امیر عرب شاہ عالی نسب گھر تیرا بے سبب لٹ گیا ہے غضب تجھ پہ بھی رن میں کیا ہوئے ہے تب اے شہ تشنہ لب السلام علیک السلام افسر کی دعا تجھ سے ہے اے خدا شاد و خرم رہے مومنی بھی صدا اے شہ کربلا السلام علیک السلام علیک السلام یا قاہر الطور و یا ناصر الولی یا مظہر العجائب یا مرتضی علی یا مرتضی علی ہمیں دنیا میں غم نہ ہو لیکن غم حسین ہمارے دل سے کم نہ ہو ساما شتاب کر دے میرے دل کے چین کا پروردگار واسطہ خون حسین کا پروردگار واسطہ خون حسین کا.
Assalamu alaikum, Bayan. I would personally like to thank Moiz and Aqeel and all the Mauritius Khanis for today's really wonderful, fantastic Majalis. God bless them. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Allah, Ya Pak Parwardigar, Ya Ghafurur Rahim, Ya Rabbul Alameen. جو پنجرل پاک ના વસીલા શોહદાએ કરબલાનો વસીલો તથા 21 ઇમામ અને દુઆતોનો વસીલો લઈને આ દુઆ કરું છું. યા અલ્લાહ, યા પાક પરવરદિગાર, તો અમારી ઉપર રહેમ કરજે, અમારી મુસીબતને આસાન કરજે, અમારા ગુનાહોને માફ કરજે. યા અલ્લાહ, મને સગલાને ઇજ્જતની જિંદગી, ઇજ્જતની મોત અને ઇજ્જતની રોજી આપજે. અમને બધાને તંદુરસ્તી આપજે. અમારામાં કોઈ બીમાર હોય તો તેને શિફા કરજે અને એના પર રહેમ કરજે. I would like to mention Asghar Tayyab Ali, who is in the hospital, is recovering well, અને આપણે દુઆ કરીએ કે એની રિકવરી બહુ જલ્દી થાય અને એ આપણી સાથે પાછો આવે. એ સિવાય કોઈ પણ બીજા બીમાર હોય આપણે એની માટે પણ દુઆ કરીએ કે એને શિફા કરે, એના પર રહેમ કરે. યા અલ્લાહ, તું અમારી ઉમ્મીદોને પૂરી કરજે અને તારા સિવાય કોઈના મોહતાજ ન બનાવજે. અમને નેક ઇન્સાન બનાવજે અને તારી રાહમાં કામ કરવાની તોફીક અતા કરજે, હિંમત આપજે, શક્તિ આપજે. આખિરમાં હરેક પર્વો માટે આપણે એક ફાતિહા.